To save Marcus, I lost my hearing. Marcus had promised me a grand wedding. But on our wedding day, Marcus's childhood sweetheart, wearing a wedding gown, sent him a selfie from the hotel. It read, "I wish you and Luna a happy marriage, but my life ends here." Marcus panicked. Ignoring our ongoing wedding ceremony, he made to rush off to save his childhood sweetheart. I grabbed him, trying to stop him, telling him it was just a ploy by his childhood sweetheart, a tactic to prevent our marriage. Marcus flew into a rage. He shoved me away and signed, "How can you be so cold-hearted? Chloe is about to die, and you're still slandering her." I followed him to the hotel, where I distinctly heard him tell Chloe, "You are the one I love. What I feel for her is nothing more than a sense of responsibility. Please don't do anything foolish, don't abandon me." My hearing had actually returned 2 days prior. I had planned to tell Marcus the good news on our wedding day, but who could have known his childhood sweetheart would use a suicide threat to call him away? Hearing his words to Chloe now, I clutched my chest. It felt as if a knife had been plunged into my heart, the pain intense. Marcus clearly saw me, but he held Chloe close, focused only on comforting her. "Please come back with me, okay? If you just come back with me, I'll do anything you ask." Chloe glanced over at me, and I distinctly saw a triumphant smirk in her eyes. Nestled in Marcus's embrace, her face was streaked with tears as she cried, "Then marry me. You can't marry Luna today, marry me instead." I thought Marcus wouldn't agree to her unreasonable demand. To my surprise, he didn't hesitate, gently tapping her nose as he said, "All right, I promise you. Today, I'll marry our Mississippi." Chloe, like a child given candy, laughed joyfully in his arms. And I, like a forgotten clown, could only tremble in the wind. Marcus and Chloe's families had all arrived on the hotel by then. They were all smiling and congratulating the new couple. Some even remarked that it was a good thing Marcus made the right decision, otherwise, marrying a deaf orphan like me would have been a laughingstock. Marcus didn't refute those words. Perhaps, deep down, he thought the same. He, too, likely felt that marrying someone like me would bring him shame. As he walked past me, still embracing Chloe, Marcus finally met my gaze. His eyes held a complex expression as he signed, "Can you go home first, please? I'll explain everything when I get home." I fought back tears, smiling faintly as I signed back, "Okay." Marcus said nothing more, quickly leaving with Chloe in his arms. Chloe looked back at me, and I clearly saw her silently mouth, "Marcus loves me, not a clown like you." Yes, I knew I was a clown. My fiancé didn't love me. He abandoned me at our wedding. What else could I be but a clown? My eyes burned intensely, tears threatening to spill. I quickly turned away, not wanting Chloe to see me, a failure, breaking down in tears. I was left alone on the hotel. I bent down, squatting on the floor and sobbing uncontrollably. When my tears finally subsided, I stood up and dragged my heavy feet downstairs. Down in the banquet hall, a grand wedding was underway, and its hosts were Marcus and Chloe. I crept to the entrance of the banquet hall and peeked in. The ceremony had already reached the exchange of rings. I watched as the ring that was meant for me was placed on Chloe's finger. Chloe's face was alight with happiness, and Marcus also wore a tender smile. Some guests in the audience cheered for the groom to kiss the bride. My eyes brimmed with uncontrollable tears again. In that moment, I even wished Marcus would abandon Chloe, just as he had abandoned me. I longed for him to remember me, to remember that I was supposed to be his bride today. But, under the expectant gazes of everyone, gently kissed Chloe. As he cupped her face, it was as if he held a precious treasure. What looked like a beautiful sin to outsiders, in that moment, pierced my eyes. I couldn't bear to watch any longer. I turned away, heartbroken, and left. No one noticed my departure. There wasn't a single friend or family member of mine there. No one cared if I was sad or despairing. And his heart and eyes were filled only with Chloe. He had long forgotten the promises he once made to me. I remembered what my only friend had once told me. My friend had said that Marcus and I were not meant to be, that being with him would only leave me heartbroken. I didn't believe it then and even cut ties with my friend for trying to dissuade me. But now, it seems my friend had seen through it all along. I was the one stubbornly refusing to learn until hitting rock bottom. Now, having hit rock bottom, I finally understood that Marcus and I were ultimately not meant to be. I returned to the house had bought. I took off my wedding dress, removed my makeup, and pulled out my suitcase to pack my belongings. He had already married Chloe. I needed to leave this place. Otherwise, if Chloe came and saw me, she would just cause another scene. Just as I finished packing and was about to leave, Marcus returned. Marcus saw me with my suitcase, his brow furrowed, and he immediately signed to me, what are you doing? Are you leaving? His language was a bit frantic, and he also spoke aloud as he signed, though his voice was clearly impatient. I raised my burning eyes and looked at him. Seeing him now, my eyes welled up again. I tried to stop the tears, but I couldn't. I nodded, my voice thick with a sob as I spoke. You've already married Chloe. She'll be moving in, won't she? Since she's moving in, I naturally have to make space. With that, I tried to walk past him, dragging my suitcase. But he leaned in, blocking my path. He snatched the suitcase from my hand, signing and speaking at the same time. What's with the dramatics? Did you see the wedding with Chloe? But and I are nothing like you imagine. I only pretend to marry her because I saw her emotional state was unstable, and I was afraid she would try to kill herself again. I just see her as a little sister from next door. He paused, his impatience growing even more pronounced. Can you just stop making a scene, please? I'm already so frustrated with everything that happened today. Can you try to be a little considerate? He abandoned me at our wedding, and then our wedding became his and Chloe's. Now he was calling me dramatic, saying I wasn't being considerate. Suddenly, I felt incredibly, utterly exhausted. I pulled my suitcase back, a weak smile playing on my lips as I said, I'm being considerate by wanting to leave. What if Chloe comes here, sees me, and throws another suicide tantrum? Will you then kick me out in front of her? I wiped a tear from my face as I continued, I'll just leave on my own, to avoid being kicked out. Or humiliated by you both. I walked quickly towards the door with my head down. Marcus grabbed my hand and pulled me forcefully into his embrace. His face was grim, as if he'd lost patience, and his sign language became agitated. Can you please stop making a fuss? I've already told you I only see Chloe as a little sister from next door. Why are you picking a fight with a little sister from next door? And besides, he paused, I won't let Chloe come here. What you're worried about won't happen. I laughed, tears mingling with my smile. What kind of brother marries his little sister from next door and kisses her like that at a wedding? When he kissed Chloe, he probably didn't even realize the happy, contented smile on his own face. And if Chloe wanted to come here, could he really stop her? Just like today, when she put on a wedding dress and threatened suicide on the hotel, if she wanted to make a scene, could he control her? Pushing him away, I said, I'm not making a fuss. I just think maybe we shouldn't be together. Our backgrounds were vastly different, we belonged to two different worlds, you and I. What do you mean? Are you trying to break up with me? Marcus cut me off, holding me captive as he signed, you want to break up with me over such a trivial matter? Luna, why are you making a big deal out of nothing? I pressed my lips together, tears streaming down my face like a broken dam. In his eyes, this was a trivial matter. He had no idea how much pain he had caused me, no idea how heartbroken I was when my illusions shattered. I wanted to reply, but he continued, Luna, stop being difficult. If you leave me, where will you go? You have no job, no income. How will you survive without me? And have you forgotten about Grandma? Grandma is still in the hospital. If you leave me, you won't even be able to afford her medical bills. His words made me freeze. He was right, I still had Grandma. When I was almost freezing to death on the streets, Grandma took me in. She gave me a home and paid for my education. Grandma was my only living relative in this world. But 2 years ago, Grandma was in a severe car accident, and she was still lying in a hospital bed. Grandma's medical and hospitalization fees were very expensive, and since losing my hearing, I had lost my job. I truly couldn't afford her medical expenses now. Marcus had instantly pinpointed my weakness. Now, I truly couldn't leave him. Foreseeing I didn't respond, Marcus gently wiped the tears from my face, his expression suddenly softening a little as he said, all right, let's just put today behind us, okay? I'll make it up to you with another wedding someday, an even grander one. I lowered my gaze slightly, hiding a bitter smile in my eyes. As long as Chloe was around, a perfect wedding between us would be impossible. As long as he cared for Chloe, we would never truly be married. I ordered your favorite Sichuan food, it should be here any minute. Marcus led me to the sofa and sat me down, then he pulled my suitcase back into the bedroom. He took the items out of the suitcase, putting them back in their original places one by one. He seemed so caring, as if he truly didn't want me to leave. Against my will, a sliver of hope sparked within me again, a hope that he and I could truly make it work. But a phone call from Chloe's family in the middle of the night made me realize that hope was ultimately just hope, and hope would never be realized. 5 around midnight, I felt terrible all over, chills and fever, a dry, sore throat, and intense pain. I must have caught a cold and fever from being exposed to the cold wind on the hotel for too long. I struggled to sit up, intending to wake Marcus, when his phone rang. The caller ID showed Uncle. Uncle, that was Chloe's father's number. My breath hitched. My fingers weakly clutched the blanket. Chloe's father calling at this hour. It couldn't be good news. Had started another scene? Was she going to summon Marcus away again? Marcus was roused by the phone's ring. He picked up his phone, saw it was Chloe's family calling, and quickly answered. The voice from the other end was unusually clear in the quiet of the night. I heard Chloe's father anxiously say, "Marcus, can you please come see Chloe quickly? Chloe woke up in the middle of the night, stimulated by something, I don't know what. She's throwing a fit, looking for you, and threatening suicide again. She almost cut her wrist with a paring knife just now. Luckily, we stopped her in time. But her emotions are very unstable right now, and she keeps calling your name. Marcus, I know I shouldn't be waking you up in the middle of the night, but Chloe is like this, can you please come see her?" Marcus's face instantly became flustered. He gripped his phone tightly, quickly got out of bed, and said, "I'll be right there. Uncle, please try to calm Chloe down for now." I felt terribly unwell, both emotionally and physically. I reached out and grabbed Marcus's sleeve, my eyes filled with pain as I looked at him. "Marcus, I think I'm sick. I feel so unwell right now. Can you take me to the hospital?" Marcus's movements paused. He turned his head, his brows deeply furrowed as he looked at me. His eyes openly displayed annoyance, like he was looking at something utterly detestable. I saw his mouth open and close, and he said, utterly heartlessly, "At a time like this, you're still jealous of Chloe. You're actually lying about being sick. To stop me from seeing Chloe, you're asking me to take you to the hospital. Luna, how could you become so unreasonable? You've truly disappointed me." With that, he yanked his sleeve away and left the room without a second thought. Watching his retreating back, I slumped onto the bed. If only he had looked closely at my face or touched my forehead, he would have known I wasn't lying. If only he had cared a little more, he would have known I was genuinely sick. But he only worried about Chloe. His heart was filled with only Chloe. Suddenly, I felt incredibly wronged, a tidal wave of grievance washing over me. I couldn't control myself and started sobbing on the bed. I had still harbored hopes that he and I could last, but he had delivered another crushing blow. Tonight, he made me completely give up hope. In's heart, Luna, would never be as important as Chloe. Too, I was nothing more than someone he could easily discard. After crying for a while, I struggled out of bed, got dressed, grabbed my phone and wallet, and went to the hospital alone. 6. I took a taxi. By the time the car reached the hospital, I felt extremely unwell. Trembling, I paid the driver, then weakly got out of the car and headed towards the hospital entrance. My body felt so terrible that after just a few steps, my legs gave out, and I uncontrollably stumbled towards the ground. Just as I thought I was about to collapse, a pair of hands caught me. A concerned voice near my ear asked, "Are you all right?" Using the strength of those hands, I steadied myself. I turned my head to look beside me and saw a man in his ties, impeccably dressed. He looked somewhat familiar. I thought I'd seen him somewhere before. I thanked him. "Thank you, I'm okay, I'm fine." Those last 3 words came out with extreme weakness. I truly felt awful, like I was about to collapse, as if I would faint any second. And just as I'd thought, after speaking, I slumped completely against him, my heavy eyelids involuntarily closing. Before my consciousness completely faded, I felt myself being picked up. The person's embrace was broad and warm, a comfort that instinctively brought a sense of security. When I next awoke, I was in a VIP hospital room. There was another patient in the room, a little girl, 7 or 8 years old. It turned out the girl was the man's daughter, and the reason he was at the hospital in the middle of the night was to visit her after finishing work. I was very grateful to the man for saving me and thanked him profusely. The man said he recognized me, knowing I used to be a teacher at a prestigious school. He said if I truly wanted to thank him, I could become the girl's private tutor. After all, she was staying in the hospital long term and couldn't go back to school. And he would pay me. The salary was several times what I earned at my previous school. I naturally agreed. After all, at this moment, I desperately needed a job, especially a high-paying one like this, which would allow me to cover grandma's hospitalization and medical fees. 7. I felt much better after the 4 drip, but I stayed at the hospital until evening before returning home. Throughout that entire day, Marcus hadn't called or sent a single message. It was as if he had completely forgotten about me. And I, once again, realized how utterly unimportant I was in Marcus's heart. When I got home, Marcus wasn't back yet. He must still be with Chloe. I turned on the lights indoors and sat down on the sofa. I had lived in this house for 5 years, believing I would stay forever, but reality made it clear to me that T.S. mistress would not be me. After sitting on the sofa for a while, I stood up, intending to go back to the bedroom to pack my suitcase, when the front door opened. Immediately, Marcus and Chloe walked in from outside. Marcus saw me. While gesturing for Chloe to change her shoes, he signed to me, "You're still lying to me about being sick. Look at you, you seem perfectly fine. How can you be ill?" His words made me let out a bitter laugh. He still thought I was lying. He was convinced I was a manipulative woman. I couldn't be bothered to explain to him. I just glanced at Chloe. He had told me just last night that he wouldn't let Chloe come here, but in the blink of an eye, he personally escorted her to our door. The words he spoke to me, the promises he made, truly were like mist, scattered by a single gust of wind. Seeing me look at Chloe, Marcus frowned slightly and quickly explained, "Chloe isn't feeling well. I was afraid she'd do something foolish again, so I brought her to our house to sleep for the night." I lowered my eyelids, a sneer in my eyes. As long as I was Marcus's girlfriend, Chloe's emotions would never be stable, would they? Every time she felt unwell, he would abandon me to take care of her. I couldn't bear to live like that for another second. Expressionless, I simply uttered a faint "oh," and walked towards the bedroom. Seeing my reaction, Marcus assumed I was angry and quickly ran to grab me. He looked down at me, signing irritably, "Can you please stop making a scene? Chloe has depression. If her mood gets bad, she might try to kill herself. You've always been kind-hearted, so please don't argue with someone who has depression, okay?" Depression? I couldn't help but look at Chloe again. Chloe pouted, on the verge of tears. "Luna, are you mad? If you're mad, I'll leave," she said, turning to walk out the door. But when she spoke to me, I distinctly saw a cunning, triumphant glint in her eyes. Someone acting like that couldn't possibly have depression. She was clearly lying, but believed Chloe implicitly. He immediately ran over and grabbed her. His eyes were filled with concern as he gently said to Chloe, "Why would you leave? If anyone's leaving, it's her. But it's late tonight, how about we have her leave tomorrow? Chloe, you stay here. I'll personally make you some late-night snacks later, okay?" Even though I already knew I held little importance in Marcus's heart, hearing him say those words now still made me feel an uncontrollable sadness. After all, we had been together for so long, and he was the man I truly loved. For him to treat me so cruelly and heartlessly, I was genuinely heartbroken. Forcing back the tears in my eyes, I looked at Marcus with a smile and slowly said, "You want me to leave, don't you? You don't have to wait until tomorrow, I can leave tonight. Although I only had about $1,000 on me, if I was careful, it should last until my next payday." After saying that, I quickly walked towards the bedroom, eager to pack my things and leave immediately. Marcus froze for a second. When he reacted, a look of astonishment crossed his face, and he rushed after me, saying, "Luna, did you hear? Did you hear what I just said?" I paused, turned back, and looked at him, saying, "Yes, I heard. I also heard what you said on the hotel yesterday. Marcus, since I'm not the one you love, let's break up. From now on, we'll go our separate ways." No, Luna. Marcus's panic was palpable. His earlier panic had been for Chloe, this current panic was for me. He frantically explained, "It's not like that, Luna. I only saw Chloe was emotionally unstable, so I just said those false words to appease her. You are the one I love, Luna, you are the one I truly love." Chloe's face visibly darkened. Tears immediately welled up in her eyes, and she cried out to Marcus, "Marcus, were you lying to me? How could you lie to me? My heart hurts so much, my heart feels awful." As she spoke, she rushed to the coffee table, picked up the paring knife, and made to cut her wrist. "If doesn't love me, then I'll die. I'll just die. Maybe if I die, Marcus will love me." Marcus looked at me, then at Chloe. He ran a hand through his hair and still rushed towards Chloe. "Chloe, don't do anything foolish. I didn't say I don't love you. I just didn't want anything to happen if she went out alone at night, which is why I said I loved her, to get her to stay. Chloe, don't do anything foolish. Please don't scare me like this, okay?" Chloe held the paring knife, which had only made a shallow cut on her wrist. She then cast another triumphant smirk my way. I scoffed, uninterested in her smug look, and quickly walked into the bedroom. As I packed my clothes in the bedroom, I heard Chloe say, "Marcus, I'm in so much pain, my hand hurts so much, and my heart hurts too. Am I going to die? Marcus, please take me to the hospital, okay?" Take me to the hospital. Marcus gently soothed her. All right, we'll go to the hospital. We'll go to the hospital right now. Immediately after, Marcus shouted to me from the bedroom, Luna, will you wait for me to come back, please? I'll explain everything properly when I return. Luna, I'm begging you. I didn't answer, silently packing my suitcase. Marcus, there was no longer any possibility for us. I wouldn't wait here indefinitely for you to come back. 9 footsteps and the sound of a door closing echoed from outside. Marcus had left with Chloe. I finished packing my suitcase, took one last look at the house I had lived in for several years, then pulled my suitcase and left without looking back. I returned to the cozy where Grandma and I used to live. Although it was old and only had 1 bedroom and 1 living room, it was Grandma's and my place, where I felt safe and truly at home. After tidying up the apartment, I washed up and went to bed. As I lay in bed, Marcus called my phone. I simply glanced at it, not answering. Marcus immediately sent me a message. Annoyed, I didn't even look at it, and blocked his WhatsApp and his number entirely. I even blocked his TikTok account. I placed my phone on the bedside table and gently closed my eyes. Perhaps it was exhaustion, or lingering effects from being sick, but I quickly fell into a deep sleep after closing my eyes. The next morning, I quickly ate breakfast and went to the hospital. However, I didn't expect to run into Marcus at the hospital entrance. When saw me, his eyes visibly lit up. He reached out and grabbed my hand. Luna, are you here for me? You knew I was back at the hospital, so you came to find me, right? Luna, where were you last night? Why didn't I see you at home when I got back? You're as gone. Did you move back to the house you shared with your grandmother? I yanked my hand back forcefully and looked at him indifferently. Even though he knew I was gone, he hadn't thought to look for me. He still rushed to the hospital, still eager to be with Chloe. In his heart, Chloe would always be more important than me. I spoke slowly, enunciating each word. Marcus, I'm not here for you. We've broken up. From now on, I won't ever look for you again. With that, I tried to walk around him and leave. Marcus's brow furrowed. He stood directly in front of me, his eyes filled with displeasure yet also a strange intensity as he looked at me. Luna, I don't agree to break up. As long as I don't agree, we can never break up. Luna. Enough. I cut Marcus off, looking at him impatiently. You don't need to agree for us to break up. When I say we're over, we're over. You should focus on taking good care of your Chloe from now on, and stop bothering me. 10 Luna. Marcus reached for my wrist again, but then a tall figure stepped forward, grabbing Marcus's hand in time and coldly saying to Marcus, didn't you hear her say she doesn't want you bothering her anymore? Marcus, how can you be so shameless? I looked up and saw it was the man who saved me last night, my new boss. I called out to him, Mr. Christopher. Christopher nodded at me. Lily is waiting for you in the VIP hospital room. She said she won't eat breakfast until you arrive. Lily was his daughter's name. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Then I'll go keep Lily company. Marcus's brows furrowed. He looked at Christopher and said in a deep voice, Mr. Christopher? Then he looked at me. When did you meet Mr. Christopher? How long have you known each other? What do you mean by keep Lily company? Are you at the hospital to take care of his daughter? Is your relationship that close? I glared at Marcus, annoyed, and said, when I met Mr. Christopher is none of your business. Marcus, we've broken up. Nothing about me concerns you anymore. After that, I truly couldn't be bothered to pay him any more attention and stepped forward to enter the hospital, but lunged at me as if he'd gone mad. I said I don't agree to break up. Luna, explain yourself. Explain what your relationship is with Christopher. Have you two been together for a long time? Did you already find someone else? Is that why you're breaking up with me so decisively, because you found a new partner? In that moment, all my lingering affection for Marcus vanished. I truly hadn't imagined he would think of me that way. The man who once doted on me seemed to have disappeared, existing only in the past. 11 Actually, he and I were never meant to be. It was his relentless pursuit, his promises to love and care for me wholeheartedly, that drew me in. He chased me for a full year, and I was moved by his sincerity, so I agreed to be with him. Soon after we got together, his friends guessed how long it would be before he broke up with me. Because our backgrounds were vastly different, we were an unlikely match, and they all said Chloe was the one he always pined for. They predicted that as soon as Chloe returned from abroad, he would dump me and go back to her. But, perhaps despite his friends, didn't break up with me. For several years. He was even exceptionally good to me, so much so that he would make me hot cocoa in the middle of the night, and once carried me up a mountain for an hour just so I could see the sunrise with him. He was even willing to pay for my grandmother's medical and hospitalization fees. Because he was so good to me, when he got into a conflict with someone on the streets abroad, I didn't hesitate to protect him. Because of him, I was beaten so badly that I lost my hearing, and after losing it, I also lost my beloved career in education. And after I lost my hearing, Marcus treated me even better. He said he would cherish and love me for a lifetime, and give me a grand wedding, the best in the world. I thought I could continue to be this happy forever. Until returned. After came back, everything changed. 4. He abandoned me on my birthday. 4. He left me on the street in the middle of the night. And even for Chloe, he abandoned me at our wedding. His friend's words ultimately came true. He was indeed drawn to the one he always pined for, and for him and me, there was only one outcome, a breakup. Hearing him push all the blame onto me now, I felt both angry and amused. The man I had loved for so many years was actually such a scoundrel. He was the one who had an ambiguous relationship with Chloe, repeatedly hurting me for her sake. Yet, in the end, he thought it was my fault. He actually thought I had betrayed him. I scoffed, and in an annoyed tone, said to Marcus, "Don't use your filthy mind to speculate about my relationship with Mr. Christopher. Mr. Christopher and I are not what you think. You and Chloe have an ambiguous relationship, don't assume everyone else is the same. Marcus, let's part on good terms. Don't make me despise you." After saying that, I gave him a cold look and walked away quickly. Marcus tried to stop me again, but Christopher stepped in front of him and said, "Do you know how Miss and I met? The night before last, she was sick. Why? A fever and came to the hospital alone. She collapsed at the hospital entrance, and I saved her." Marcus, where were you when she was sick? In the dead of night, you let her, sick as she was, come to the hospital alone. Did you ever truly care about her? Marcus looked stunned. She was really sick? I thought she was faking it. The hospital can verify her medical records. If you don't believe me, you can go check. Christopher cut him off, mocking him without hesitation. Marcus, as a boyfriend, you're a failure. If you don't care about her that much, then let her go. After speaking, Christopher turned and walked into the hospital with me. I don't know what Marcus's reaction was, but Marcus didn't try to stop me again. 12 Every day, I came to the hospital to tutor Lily, and Marcus also came to the hospital daily. For the first few days, he would go see Chloe first after arriving at the hospital, and then come to find me. Later, he discovered Chloe's depression was fake, realizing she had been deceiving him all along. He had a big confrontation with Chloe at the hospital, and after that, he never visited her again. He came to me to apologize, saying he had been fooled by Chloe all this time, and that his poor judgment had caused me harm. He begged me to forgive him, but I wasn't an overly forgiving person. I couldn't just brush off the past hurts. So, I wouldn't forgive him. I told him to stop bothering me, always using the harshest words to sting him. But he seemed deaf to them, continuing to do as he pleased, coming to the hospital every day to apologize to me. Mr. Christopher saw how truly annoyed I was with Marcus and suggested the best way to get him to leave was for me to get a boyfriend. Once he saw I had a partner, he would back off. Mr. Christopher said he would be glad to help me with this. I took Mr. Christopher's advice, and we appeared conspicuously hand in hand in front of Marcus. Seeing us like that, he broke down sobbing, "Luna, can we real? Why not go back? Do you truly have no feelings left for me at all?" I looked at him indifferently, my voice devoid of warmth. "No, we can't go back. From the moment you abandoned me at our wedding, from the moment you turned our wedding into yours and Chloe's, from the moment you left a sick me in the middle of the night to be with Chloe, we couldn't go back. Marcus, let's just move on. Stop bothering me." Marcus looked as if he had been struck by a massive blow. His body swayed, and his face turned ashen. He lowered his eyes slightly, softly muttered, "Luna, I'm sorry," and then turned and left. I knew Marcus wouldn't bother me again. From then on, Marcus and I were truly strangers. 13. Marcus's Chapter 1 Loved Luna. The moment I first saw her at school, I knew she was the one for me. She was beautiful and talented, the acknowledged goddess of the literature department. But I heard she was a loner, didn't like interacting with people, and only had one friend. Many people pursued her, but perhaps because of her personality, no one managed to win her over. This made me somewhat secretly pleased. It was good she hadn't been swept off her feet, otherwise, I wouldn't have had a chance. I began to pursue her using various methods. Because I knew she was quite reserved, I didn't dare to openly pursue her in front of others. Doing so would only scare her away. But she was truly hard to impress. I pursued her for 5 months, and she remained indifferent to me. She refused my breakfast, refused the seat I saved for her, she refused everything I offered. I felt a bit discouraged. My friends all advised me to pursue a different girl. After all, Luna wasn't the only beautiful and talented girl at school. But I had set my heart on Luna. I wanted Luna. I continued my relentless pursuit, and finally, one night during Thanksgiving break, I found my opportunity. During break, many people went home, and all of Luna's roommates left too. Luna stayed at school because of her part-time job. And knowing she stayed, I didn't go home either. Before the dormitory doors closed for the night, I wanted to bring her some food. I knew she worked late and often just grabbed a piece of bread to tide her over after her shift, rarely eating a proper meal. I bought a lot of nutritious and easily digestible food and went to her dormitory building, asking the dorm manager to take it up to her. However, the dorm manager quickly came back down after taking the items upstairs. She was helping Luna, who was burning up and whose face was unusually flushed. It was clear she had a fever. The dorm manager urged me to rush her to the hospital, saying her fever was quite severe. Without hesitation, I immediately scooped Luna into my arms and headed toward my car. I drove Luna to the hospital and stayed by her side at the hospital all night. The next morning, when Luna woke up and saw me sitting by her hospital bed, she paused for a moment, then thanked me gratefully. In her eyes, besides clear gratitude and emotion, a profound, unshakable emotion was flowing. I knew then that my relationship with Luna was about to change. Afterward, I continued to pursue Luna. Although she still refused my breakfast, she started accepting the seats I saved for her. When we ate at the cafeteria, she would also sit with me. If she wasn't working on the weekends, she'd even agree to go hiking with me. Our relationship was growing closer little by little. Finally, after a year of pursuing her, Luna agreed to be my girlfriend. I was so overjoyed that day, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops across the whole city. 14 Life with Luna was blissful and fulfilling. I thought we could stay this happy forever. But after Luna lost her hearing saving me, she became much more sensitive and insecure. She was afraid I'd change my mind, afraid I'd leave her for someone else. I knew it was because I hadn't given her enough security. I told myself I had to give Luna all the reassurance she needed. However, I failed. After returned home, she started finding all sorts of excuses to seek me out, and the parents from both our families also worked together to set us up. At first, I vehemently rejected Chloe, not allowing her to get close to me. But over time, Chloe's persistence began to wear me down. It was as if I saw a reflection of myself, of the way I used to pursue Luna, in her. So, I started to let my heart stray, allowing Chloe to get closer to me, step by step. I knew Luna would be unhappy. But I was convinced that Luna couldn't leave me. I was convinced that no matter what I did, she would always stay by my side. So, when Chloe, dressed in a wedding gown, staged a suicide attempt at the wedding, I unhesitatingly chose Chloe and even turned my wedding to Luna into a wedding with Chloe. I thought I could just explain things properly to Luna afterward. But to my surprise, Luna had regained her hearing and heard everything Chloe and I had said. She moved out of my house and found a new job. She became confident, no longer the sensitive and insecure Luna who stayed at home. And I started to panic. I followed her every day, trying to explain my relationship with Chloe, wanting to win her back. But she was absolutely determined to break up with me. Not long after, she was with Mr. Christopher. They appeared arm in arm, looking utterly inseparable. In that moment, I broke down. With reddened eyes, I asked her if we truly couldn't go back. Luna said that from the moment I abandoned her and chose Chloe, there was no going back for us. I knew that Luna and I were completely over. I never dared to bother Luna again. Even though I loved her, I couldn't disturb her anymore. I had hurt her so much. I only wished for her to be happy in her future. As for Chloe, who caused Luna and me to break up, I made sure she didn't have an easy time. I ruined her family's business, ensuring she could no longer live like a high society princess. Years later, when I saw Luna again, I noticed she had 2 children by her side. They called her Mom, and her face was radiant with a happy smile. Thanks for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.